Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Thank you so much for being here. By the way, I don't think we'll be here more than an hour. Um, yeah, probably not. Yeah, not, not, not possible. Okay, it is possible, but we'll see how it goes. Okay. Um, Ingrid Soares, thank you so much for being here first. All right, and there we go. What's next? What's next? Plenty. Um, we've been kind of pulled down by all of this talk of sabotage, and while I believe it is true that there is some very dark forces, the unseen hand behind the scenes, acting out deplorably, let's do remember that um, there are some big events coming up. So we should also reflect upon that. Let me see if I'm correct. There's an award for both the Sussexes, right? And then Meghan's gala is coming up, the one that was postponed. Not to mention, they will be, most importantly, in New York for Mental Health Week, Mental Health Awareness. Yeah. So, um, also next month is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Very important date, or should I say month on the calendar, because is a constant reminder that is once a year to take very serious something that has been a huge impact on so many communities, especially in wealthy industrialized nations, with the exception of, say, Japan. But yeah, it's been a bit of a well, that's what happened to my grandmother. So I have very intimate knowledge of how it impacts a family. And in spite of all of that, my dear sweet grandmother had the ability to take myself and my cousin to both Disneyland and Disney World and a lot of other places in between. So um, she was a fighter. She was a fighter. Okay, so yeah, World Mental Health Day is coming up, and of course, there's a big lineup of people. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex will, of course, be there, and Katie Couric. You know how much we love Katie Couric with her awkward questions at the most inopportune time. Um, let's hope that she doesn't do a Katie Couric on us. Katie Couric and her amazingly well placed but yet ill timed questions. You know what I mean? That Katie Couric. Katie Couric, who is able to change the whole direction, the whole mood of the moment with just one question. And I'm sure she meant well, but I am probably going to find myself holding my breath every time I imagine she's going to speak. Katie Couric is definitely an alpha female, right? And she is not used to being on a panel that she is not leading. And even when she's not leading the panel, she somehow takes over duty. You know what I mean? Did you guys notice that at the South by Southwest? Even though she was not actually leading the panel, suddenly, I would say this: if you just tuned in and you didn't know what was going on, you would have thought, "Oh, I wonder who Katie Couric has on." That was very difficult to watch, but Let's just hope she doesn't Katie Couric the situation again. And just a reminder, when it comes to the galas, our Duchess, I just want to remind you guys of just a few favorite looks of mine. Not everything, not all occasions, but just to remind you. Hi, Heather Stroud, Amazing Grace, Tara Lovett, Gwendolyn Daniels, Janet Williams, Compton Caligal, Mary H. Novi D, Jeanette Williams, Sharon Skinner, Gwendolyn Daniels. Did I say that already? Shirley Holland, Emma D. I think I said Emma D, right? Anyway, thank you all so much for being here. But yeah, Meghan was rocking that look that night. Yes, yes, walk, girl. Walk. Notice I used a background that almost looks just like the carpet, doesn't it? Isn't that cool the way that worked out? I knew exactly which one I was going to go for. Hi, Shelly L says, hi, Baron. I hope everyone had a great weekend. Well, I went to Costco and left a significant amount of money there with them, more than I planned. And I hope they put it to good use. I hope I can help them make their payroll and I can help them with their bottom line and their profit margins and such. Even though I only went there to get some paper towels, some detergent, and some toilet paper. A bunch of money later, and I was like, what happened? What happened? Especially, it took a turn when I went to the frozen food section. Yeah, I'm going to say that's where things took a very dramatic turn when I got to the frozen food. But listen, I got a huge bag of limes that I shared with my companion. So I did share it and some other stuff. Marie Fabian, welcome. What's that? A new where's my bell? Okay. A new membership. Thank you very much for that, Shelly L. No, I'm sure you've had a membership before. So I'm still going to celebrate though, but I'm more than certain that you've had one before. So I think you're just either changing your payment method or something. But anyway, thank you so much for that. Hi, Patricia Ann Franklin. Puzzle Dot. Okay, another look where Meghan slayed. Now, this has an overskirt that goes to it. You all probably remember that from the Intrepid Museum Gala. Well, here's Meghan wearing it without the overskirt. Now, some people did not like the, when I say some people, celibacy, they could not get with the kind of darts shaped cups at the top. But Megan's not a very busty person. I like the way it kind of pleated and everything, but I could see their point. But anyway, it's beautiful. And the fabric, look at the way the fabric captures the light. Shelly L, I'm a member. My credit card just expired. Yep, that's what I thought. Thank you so much for the super chat. Oh, excuse me. That happens from time to time when we change our payment method or when the credit card expires, then there's that switch over and it looks like a new membership when it really isn't. However, I will use this occasion to say, please, if you do not have a membership, consider a membership with Royal Sussex. For the cost of just $4.99 or more, if you choose, you can help support this channel. You could help support this channel. I mean, think about it. Royal Sussex. And some days it actually takes the place of network television, streaming services and such. And then there's Royal Sussex. So think about it. Think about it. God, that was Butch. Where did that come from? Royal Sussex. Ladies and gentlemen, Royal Sussex. Thank you for watching Royal Sussex. Where did that voice come from? Lydia Washington. Terry H. Gosh, that was very Butch, wasn't it? Royal Sussex. I wonder if I could sing like that. No, I cannot. I was going to try to do it, but I don't think I could hold it and try to hold a note at the same time. So, okay. So we covered the Vision in Black and, of course, the red. Check out those shoes, right? Oh, Kelly Zapin McGee. What a fun night that was. And then, of course, this night, oh my God, this is probably my favorite red carpet moment was this night. It was. When she got out of that car, it was raining and everything. And anyway, they look so beautiful. God, they look beautiful. What an attractive couple. I mean, I'm not saying I'd be like, what y'all doing later? But what an attractive couple, right? Beautiful couple. And then there was this. Yes, Slay Queen. Slay, yes, Queen. Isn't that how they say it on the, gosh, what is that? I guess it's like Drag Race or something like that. Yes, Slay Queen. Walk. You better work. Yes. Okay.
love you. Oh my God, I love you so much. I love her. Oh my God, not with the flashlight. I'm sorry, it turned on. Oh my God, I love you. Oh my God, I love you so much. I love her. Oh my God, not with the flashlight. I'm sorry, it turned on.
Well, look at the copycat. Look who had to go out and get one of those gowns, huh? Look at there. Look at there. Well. She attempted the hair, even though Meghan wore her hair slicked back in a slick back bun. But she tried. She tried. My. Well, yeah. Yep. It is the same dress, just a different color. Hmm. Oh, Nana. Silly wabbits. Tricks are for kids. Silly wabbit. Tricks are for kids. Anyway, the hair. That was a moment right there. I forgot who the stylist was, but that was the moment. That hair was the moment. I don't care what anybody says. That hair was the moment. Beautiful. So yes, we have a lot to look forward to next month. I am certain, and I will be there for it. I will be there for it. Next time, I think if you're gonna wear the dress, you gotta do the hair, right? Leave that carcass at home for just one day and go with the slick back bun. Yep. Leave that uh, decaying carcass, that result of a taxidermy. Leave that at home. Right? Leave that taxidermy project at home and do the slick back bun. That is beautiful. It just takes your breath away, doesn't it? And she's beautiful. So there we go. Also, not likely to see a red carpet, but the yellow. The yellow, one of my favorite moments. This is a nice throwback. One of the squatties posted that, and that's what kind of got me started tonight. I'm just like, yes. Why not? That's kind of what got me started tonight. People's Duchess, how are you? You have been working hard. Thank you so much. I haven't seen all of the videos because usually if I'm sitting in front of my computer, I'm working, but when I can, I do try to catch other content creators, and you had one that was exceptionally good that I'm sure all of them are, but the one I watched, I'm just like, oh wow, this is great. So thank you. Okay, check it out. I love the yellow. That was the moment. That was the moment. As Anita of My Duke and I would say, Meghan is the moment. Yes, Queen. Slay. Okay. You know what I'm looking for, don't you? Let me see. Where is it? Nope, that's not it. Wait for it. Wait for it. Ha! I found it. No, I didn't. I'm just stalling. Where is it? Where is the Duchess of Sussex with the yellow slaying, of course? Oh, come on. I play it all the time. It's from Nigeria, of course. Yeah, the yellow gave me my life. I have to say, the yellow gave me my life. I had a newfound purpose in life when I saw the yellow. Unfortunately, I am not. Oh, there it is. There it is. There it is. Don't you love it? She doesn't have her hands at that weird angle like some other member of the royal family. Not all hunched over and everything. I mean, she's just personifies elegance, regal. Right? See there? See how she moves? Look at how she's moving. And it's not a one of course. It is not a one of. That is, like one of her friends said, she's always been royal. Always. Always been royal. Where's another good example of that? Okay, one more, and then we're going to get on with the rest of the slides. One more. Where is it? You know which one it is. Oh, you know what? I'm looking the wrong way. There we go. So much easier when I put the right title in. There we go. You gotta know it took a lot of audacity to wear that. You know what I'm saying? Who else could have pulled that off? Not many people. And it did not look out of place at all. It does not look out of place at all. Who else could have? I mean, who else could have done this? It seems like Harry just asked the same question, right? Harry looks back and he goes, who else could have done this? See, watch. Stunning. See, who else could have done this? That's what he's saying. Anyway, I am not going to play this entire video because you know this one's a bit longer, but oh, love, 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 love it. Who else could have pulled that off? I love like when the guy is like, oh, look at there. Right? Right? Yes. This is why I always get excited when there's a gala coming up because you just never know. You never know. Um, and this is not because Meghan is a royal princess, it's because she's Meghan. Style is something you either have or you don't. You see, fashion is something you buy. But when it comes to style, you either have it or you don't. It's all a matter of how you wear your clothes. You could put on a bin liner and look fabulous if you know how to wear it. Or you can put on a bin liner and for the I won't say it, but you can get confused. You can get confused for a bottle of Pepto-Bismol. Yes. You seem like the antidote for nausea and diarrhea. Although some would say you are the cause of diarrhea and nausea. But either way, that's smart of her though. Someone who says some of the most abominable things that can lead to stomach upset, nausea, and diarrhea, projectile vomiting, if you will. Someone who's capable of inducing that on the unaware public, right? Innocent public, right? How brilliant that she is walking around dressed like the relief. She's literally dressed like a bottle of Pepto-Bismol. That is so smart. That is very intelligent of her to do that. Because Lord knows she's enough to give you a stomach ache with that rhetoric of hers. Anyway, be gone, you. You're cramping my style. So anyway, that was a fun look, right? So how many do we have so far? I'm sure y'all don't mind. I want to go back. There we go. Just a review of what we looked at so far. This is to whet our appetite for what's coming up. That one, now your favorite look may not be featured here, and that's okay. I just grabbed a few. Actually, I just searched gala in my photos, and these were the ones that came up. Anything that looked like a red carpet moment is what came up. Oh, the slick back bun. Gotta love that slick back bun. Okay. All right. Are our appetites sufficiently wet? Huh? Are we there? We are ready for next month. Okay. Now, on to some other business. Life goes on, and the king and the queen consort are headed to church, the something Kirk. They are headed to church. And of course, Camilla looking very pleased with herself. I wonder why she is so I guess I guess pleased with herself. Is that the right word? Why does she look so sublime, for Camilla? Hello? Is this the Daily Mail? Senior Royal here. Now, I'm sure that all of this trouble comes from Kensington Palace, but there's always that possibility that it could have been one of the other usual suspects. And of course, that is, hello, Senior Royal here. I said, Senior Royal here. Did you know? Yeah, that one. Hey, Duchess of Success. Thank you so much for saying hi. Thanks for coming by. All right. So, good Lord, look at that hand. Look at how small that dog look in comparison to those hands. Those hands scare me. Let me get that off the screen before, you know. Now, Prince William and Clive Alderton accused of blocking Harry's reconciliation with King Charles. You know, I love Feminegra. And I'm always checking with Feminegra first, hoping that they're covering certain things. Sometimes it takes a minute because I don't know, it may be a one-person operation, but it takes them a minute. But when they cover it, it's always epic. If you have not signed up to their newsletter, please do so because Feminegra is doing the Lord's work. Hallelujahs. So it says here, Prince Harry spent 53 minutes with King Charles at Clarence House to signal a quiet step toward father-son reconciliation. Instead, it has spiraled into a fresh cycle of spin and rebuttals, with royal reporters like Tom Sykes now pointing directly at Prince William and Charles' private secretary, Sir Clive Alderton, as the architects of sabotage. Yes, the architects of the sabotage. Harry's visit described as formal by press. Now, we all know that that is not what came from Harry or anyone in his camp. The Sun framed, oh, wait a minute. The Sun. Hello, Senora. Okay, never mind. The Sun framed the meeting as distinctly formal, claiming Harry felt like an official visitor with his father. The paper also reported that Harry gifted Charles a framed photo of Archie and Lilibet. Later, Harry's spokesperson pushed back, calling the claims false. While confirming that gifts were exchanged, the spokesperson clarified the photo did not include Harry and Meghan. The denial was followed by sharp suspicion among observers, like you and I, that the leaks came not from Clarence House, but from William's circle. Critics noted that the pattern, stories painting Harry as distant while protecting Charles and William from criticism. Sussex issued quick on-record rebuttal. I should remind you, there was a very quick and precise rebuttal. Oh, thank you so much, Lydia Washington, for that. I'm going to put the link for Feminegra up there at the top. Remember, it is free of charge. They only want you to look at a few ads to help support Feminegra, which I do every time. As Celibici would say, make sure you turn off your ad blocker. Now, Sussex's issue quick on-record rebuttal. Harry's team rarely comments on private meetings. Their decision to respond this time shows how damaging the leak was intended to be. A spokesperson stressed the quotes attributed to Harry were pure invention and accused anonymous source of trying to block reconciliation. Pushing back also echoed Harry's long-standing grievance from Spare that leaks and back briefing against him and Meghan drove their decision to step back in 2020. Always the briefing. Now, Tom Sykes points to William and Alderton. I repeat, Tom Sykes are pointing to those two people that you see on the screen there. The situation escalated when royal reporter Tom Sykes, once known for amplifying anti Sussex coverage, admitted on his Substack that William and Alderton are leading efforts to block any reconciliation between Harry and King Charles. You know, we should not be surprised about that because Tom Sykes seemed I guess I hate to say the word, but he seemed really psyched out by the idea of Harry being in the UK. Do you guys remember how excited he was that Harry was in the UK? And he also described exactly, I'm almost embarrassed. I want to blush when I say this, but he also described how fetching, how fit Harry appeared on his electronic device. I'm trying to do that little. I'm like, Tom Sykes, calm down. That is the Duke of Sussex. It's not a toy. That is the Duke of Sussex. Have some type of decorum. Anyway, he seemed to be rather surprised. I mean, excited. NTO ways, as I was saying. Listen, I'm sure there's a lot of people that are in agreement with Tom Sykes, but I would expect him to be more professional when he refers to the Duke of Sussex. But on the other hand, if it helps him to see clear to some fair and unbiased reporting, we'll at least let you have a look. That's it. You can look. Okay. So the situation escalated when royal reporter Tom Sykes, once known as for amplifying anti-Sussex coverage, admitted on his Substack that William and Alderton are leading efforts to block any reconciliation between Harry and King Charles. Now, these are Tom Sykes' words. There are plenty of people within the royal household who want to undermine the reconciliation. For starters, there is William. Then there is Charles' private secretary, a well-known Harry foe. It's there in Harry's book. It describes him as the Wasp. The Wasp. He's blaming the Wasp. Anyway, Feminagle goes on to say Sykes also acknowledged that the use of anonymous briefings played a major role in Harry and Meghan's mental health struggles, a striking shift from a journalist who once fueled the same harmful narratives for Sykes to now echo Harry's own words raises questions not only about Charles and William, but about the royal press pack that has long shaped their divisions. Okay, now that being said, let's go. I believe that is Clive Alderton back there dressed as the penguin. He has on the tailcoat there. I believe that's him. Yes, that is the Wasp. Now, let's get to Tom Sykes. Do bear with me. I may inadvertently play the same thing twice. They're very short sound bites. And thank you to our dear Zandy Sussex for grabbing these for us, because the more of us that have these, the better. Because in the future, we, especially, you know me, I am going to reference these again and again and again. Okay? Uh-oh. Okay. I dropped something, but I'll grab it after I start this. Okay, are we ready? Let's do this. Palace has done nothing for the past. Oh, where's the okay? You know what? Okay, okay, I'm ready. We can all see. No, I'm not. How come that's not on? Okay, here goes. All right, perfection.
The palace has done nothing for the past year. They go, the king's fine, the king's fine, the king's great, the king's fantastic, the king's never been better. You know, even though we can all see that, you know, Charles is losing weight. He doesn't look great. He's very tired when he's out and about. He looks very tired when he's out and about on jobs. And you know, we the palace has done nothing for the past year. They go, the king's fine, the king's fine, the king's.
Okay, again, this it may not be in order, and I may by chance play the same thing twice, but
Royal household who do want to undermine the reconciliation between Charles and Harry. For starters, there is William, who, and plenty of people on his team, who think that it's a very foolish, stupid move. And then there are lots of people in Charles's own camp, his courtiers, who don't think it's a great move. And leading among them is Charles's private secretary, Sir Clive Alderton, a well-known Harry foe. I don't think it's any great secret that he is a Harry foe. I mean, it's there in Harry's book. He describes him as the Wasp. He says he's the Wasp. And so it was just, I don't know. I understand Harry's point of view. Like, Harry feels like the back briefing against him and the sort of use of anonymous sources to undermine him. You know, it was one of the main complaints in Spare, and he feels that it was a massive contributory factor in the sort of breakdown of his mental health in the run up to him leaving the family, and part of Meghan's mental health troubles was this. And you can see, right, it would make you feel paranoid if there's stuff appearing in the paper and you've had a conversation with a person and you've said one thing, and then an account of it appears in the newspaper that says something totally different.
you know, having those very murky looking clouds as a backdrop, I don't know what that says about this whole confession of a royal reporter, but I'm here for it. I think it looks perfect for where we are right now. Let me see. Uh-huh. Yeah. Well, if William wants him to stick around, I would not be surprised. But I do believe, I mean, because think about this, he seems to be acting on William's behalf more than he is for Charles. You could say, well, he's trying to protect Charles, but Charles does not need his protection from his son. But William, on the other hand, the man who will be king, it doesn't seem strange that Clive Alderton would want to ingratiate himself with William the Terrible. So I'm going to just say if Tom Sykes sees it that way, then maybe he knows something we don't. I mean, he's closer to the story than I could ever be by 1,000 miles. So let's just stay with that if you will. Okay. All right. I think I have more. Wait, let me see. What does that say there? In a waspish comment about the significance of the Duke's meeting with Charles, one unnamed source suggested those in Team Harry had mistaken a brief tea and a slice of cake for the Treaty of Versailles. Yeah, that is the height of humor, right? Way too snarky. Okay. Men in gray suits are sabotaging my reunion with my father. Yep, they certainly are. Okay, let me see if I have something else different from that. Um, I may have saved the same thing twice, but let's see.
One thing really important, a lot of people are saying that they think that Meghan and her team leaked this to the Sun. I don't think that's accurate. I really don't think it's accurate. They hate the Sun so much. The Sun is very much Team Wales. If Meghan and her side were going to leak anything, it would be appearing in the American tabloids. It wouldn't be appearing in the Sun. That's not to say, that I know for a fact. I don't know who Matt Wilkinson in the Sun. I don't know who his sources are, but I can have a pretty good guess from the tone of the description, and it seems like Harry thinks that he knows who it is. Who it is too.
Matt Wilkinson, a known Meghan hater. A known Meghan hater. So it is of no surprise that Matt Wilkinson, who works for The Sun, is no surprise that he would come up with such a ghastly story like that. I mean, his hostility for Meghan is frightening, and he disguises it with that very erudite tone that he uses on that whatever show that they do, podcast that they do. I mean, think about it. He's the one who, in all likelihood, invites what's his name, Arthur Edwards. Arthur Edwards, yeah, he's always bringing Arthur Edwards to the show. And then there's that young lady that, I mean, they're awful people. They are awful people. So I wouldn't be surprised. Not at all. Now, let me see if I have something else.
I, at the Royalist, have led a lot of the reporting about tensions between William and Charles. And I know, like, I'm sorry if that sounds like I'm blowing my own trumpet, but as a journalist, you sort of do have to do that a bit because, I want to remind you guys why you're kind enough and generous enough to subscribe. But also, yeah, it's maybe a bad habit, a bad habit of journalists. But, we do tend to blow our own trumpets. And to be totally fair, I have led a lot of the reporting about that. And it was something when I started the Royalist 6 weeks ago, I can't believe it was so recent, that I'd known about for a while, and I decided to really go for in my coverage at the Royalist. So I'm quite attuned to all the subtleties in this debate. So I, at the Royalist, have led a lot of the reporting about tensions between William and Charles. And I know, like, I'm sorry if that sounds like I'm blowing my own trumpet, but as a journalist, you sort of do have to do that a bit because, I want to remind you guys why you're kind enough and generous enough to subscribe. But also, yeah, it's maybe a bad habit, a bad habit of journalists. But, we do tend to blow our own trumpets. And to be totally fair, I have led a lot of the reporting about that. And it was something when I started the Royalist 6 weeks ago, I can't believe it was so recent, that I'd known about for a while, and I decided to really go for in my coverage at the Royalist. So I'm quite attuned to all the subtleties in this.
Okay. Well, first of all, it sounds like someone has had a change of heart to some degree. I don't want to get too excited about it because you know how that is. They let you down every time. And as far as trumpets are concerned, I tell you, there's trumpets all over Kensington Palace. So if there's trumpets that anyone's interested in, trust me when I say this, you can find all the trumpets you want over at Kensington Palace. As a matter of fact, they prefer trumpets over there. Yeah, they they got everything you need. And also, if you're interested in a pulled pork sandwich, they have that too. Trumpets, pulled pork sandwiches. It's all inclusive. It's just like going to a resort. It's all inclusive. So, Helen Marmon, thank you so much for the membership. And I'm guessing you may also have changed your payment method or broke in a new card. But thank you very much. Greatly appreciate it for the support. And now, what was I saying? I think I was talking about trumpets. Okay. Um as pulled pork sandwiches go by. All right, Tom Sykes. Okay, I think that was everything I have with his little
So,
vignettes. Do I have anything else? I don't think so. Let's try this one.
you know, people obviously are lots of people who just see this as like a very sad family situation. I think will be really happy that there is a breakthrough on the personal level. But I do not underestimate the backlash that is going to come to this in the UK press. There are a lot of people who will see Harry as having ulterior motives, who will see Charles as being weak for having agreed to meet him. And one of those people, I'm afraid to say, is Prince William.
Okay. Yes, Matt Wilkinson was being very much the stalker. And, you know, he has that unforgettably weird face. I mean, not weird, unattractive or anything like that, but just um he seems like some kind of evil agent, like a double agent that will turn on you. Yeah, so that's what when I look at his face, that's what I see is like someone from a security agency that's playing both sides. Antoinette Kennedy, hello, thank you for being here. Baron, why do these idiots keep starting the same crap every time Harry visits home country? Shameful. I guess the simple answer is William is afraid. William is afraid of the attention that Harry gets. And also, he means to punish Harry for leaving, right? Just like he meant to punish Harry for marrying a quite dynamic woman who has her own voice and sense of self awareness, who is a star in every way you can imagine. So, William has an axe to grind. And I don't think that there was any way to reason with him, which is unfortunate. And I do hope that they're not successful sabotaging this. I really hope that that they're not successful because this would be a great move for everyone involved. I'm sure everyone involved, and Harry means to spend time in the country of his birth, and he should have the ability to do that without this fear of uh, backlash from his brother. And the best time to do it is now. the sooner the better. You know, it needs to happen, and it needs to happen now. And they are working very hard to sabotage everything. So thank you again, Feminagra. Thank you. Let me see. I'm pretty sure that was everything for him, but I said that 3 times already, and it wasn't.
For everything. I'm gonna have a look at some of the comments. Here. Yeah, says Trish. I saw, let's stop all this pretense. Charles is well aware of what his courtiers are doing. If he wasn't aware, he would fire them. They are acting according to his wishes. Well, yes and no. You know, look, fundamentally, you're right, Trish. Like, obviously, you know, no one can work for Charles and massively go against his will. But sometimes, like, compare it to, like, you know, Donald Trump was talking about the deep state. The courtiers are a bit like the deep state. They're a bit like the civil service. You know, they do have a lot of power independently. I'd really recommend Valentine Lowe's book, Courtiers. It's a really good insight into how, you know, they sometimes get ahead of themselves and do things without his mission. But yeah, you're right. Like, ultimately, you know, it's the Charles, and, you know, they can't blame the men in grey for everything. I'm gonna have a look at.
Wow. You know, he is choosing his words very carefully. And I respect that. He is choosing his words very carefully. So I do think that was everything, but let me try this last one.
Plenty of people within the royal household who do want to undermine the reconciliation between Charles and Harry. For starters, there is William, and plenty of people on his.
Okay, I'm sure that I've done that already. This is where he mentions Clive.
Who do want to undermine the reconciliation.
Okay, done that.
Tension between Charles and William. I mean, they do not like each other. They are not on the same page when it comes to how the country should be run. You know, there is real tension between Charles and William. I mean, they do not like each other. They are not on the same page when it comes to how the country should be run.
Okay, that was like a 10-second soundbite. And with that, I am more than certain that that was that. I don't think I have any more of those Tom Sykes. I'm just scrolling through here. Okay. Yeah, I do believe that that was it. Yep. Okay. Well, he's given us a lot to think about. So this is what I'm going to do. I don't have anything Substack, but I would be kidding if I said I was not curious at this point. Also, maybe these truth bombs are an appeal for support, right? I'm not saying that anyone should go out of their way, because we still have to give him the side eye, right? However, I would like to go a little deeper. And while I have been dependent upon a couple of the squatties on the X, formerly known as Twitter, it would serve me better if I had my own account or a subscription or whatever. So I don't know how subscriptions work for Substack, but I'm going to find out. And I'd like to keep an eye on Mr. Sykes just to see, because you know what? The more people that have a record of these comments, the better it is. And that is the strength of the Sussex squad, is that we keep our receipts, and the receipts are all over the place. And if one person doesn't have it, usually there's about 20 other people that do. So I have learned to screenshot. I have learned to screen record so that I can have these things when I need them. Case in point is coming up, by the way. So this little spot of bother here Princess Kate poses in cute cowboy hat as she confirms she will miss Women's Rugby World Cup final. The Princess of Wales has shared a message for England's Red Roses, confirming that she won't be attending the match. Well, I tell you, no sooner than things have calmed down than Lazy Will and Lazy Kate have surfaced again. Those other people that we saw running around, they couldn't find enough work to do. Oh, they're gone. They put them back on the cupboard. Yep, they're back in the cupboard, waiting for the next time that their services are required. Take a look here. Good luck, England. Wishing the very best of luck to the Red Roses Rugby in their Women's Rugby World Cup final at, is that Twickenham? Twickenham today. We're so proud of you, Kate. Yeah, the C is for Kate. Kate skipped Women's Rugby World Cup victory celebration despite patron role. She is the patron, for flip's sake. However, Kate's no-show stands in sharp relief against the attendance of international figures. Canada's Prime Minister Mark Carney traveled over 3,000 miles to watch his national team, while Kate remained at home. William chose to spend the weekend in Scotland, reportedly engaged in shooting. Yes, a shooting party in 2025. The absence of both royals from a defining moment of women's sport highlights their selective approach to duty. Hey, this is not a surprise. Will and Kate do not support women in sports. They just don't. They do not. It is rare that they support women in sports. That is a constant with those two. They always find something else to do when they ought to be there supporting the women, especially if they are the patrons or the president or this or that. They should be there. The Lionesses. Remember that time? Why won't you support them? Oh, what about William? I didn't go to the Olympics because I didn't want to bring anything home to Kate. Meaning, of course, he thought that there may have been some type of outbreak of that global pandemic stuff. So he decided that was a worthy excuse to stay home. However, Will and Kate are all over Britain. Is there any greater chance of an outbreak there than it would be in international areas around the UK? I think you are, stretching it, sir, but it was a convenient excuse. They do not support women, especially Kate. Well, both of them. That's their kink. Everybody's got a kink, and that's their kink. They are there for men, but they do not like to support women. Any woman, especially Kate, someone who doesn't get along with any other women. Let me see. We're so proud of you. Princess of Wales wishes women's rugby team good luck ahead of World Cup final. She just ain't going to be there to do it in person. We've seen the Hello magazine. No, was that Hello? Which magazine? Oh, anyway, who cares? Wears a cowboy hat, sure. Yeah, personal message. I guess that will have to do since the patron herself is very selective about where she would show up. Lazy is as lazy does. Now, let's get back to the sabotage. Why the bruising war of words, not to mention numerous briefings which appear to be coming from Harry's camp? Oh my God, Rebecca English again. She spins and spins and spins. She is a spin doctor. She's not a reporter. She spins. She is a spin doctor. She is a image consultant. She is a personal agent of the royal family. She really works on behalf of the royal family. She doesn't work for Lord Nappyhead. That is just a stepping stone. Then when William becomes king, I promise you, she is going to end up in the royal household. I'm almost certain of it. She's always running block and defense for William. Always. And of course, Kate, over his meeting with King Charles, is placing His Majesty in an impossible position and making it increasingly difficult for the pair to ever reconcile. Well, she doesn't want them to reconcile. I mean, if you look at those big, busy hands of hers, do you think she has hands that look like weapons for no reason? She uses those hands, if those are hands, she uses those hands or whatever to type out nonsense like this, to make up stuff, to shift the conversation in another direction. Of course, I'm trying to avoid saying the obvious lies, lies. I do not believe it. I do not. I am going to allege, for the sake of the lawyers, that she's making up stuff. She does not want Harry in a greater position of authority in that household. I mean, not that he's not already by birth, but I'm just saying she'd rather be in a position where she can try to crap all over him than to treat him with any respect. Because right now, this is a complete lack of respect. But she has been instructed to carry on like this by Kensington Palace. I mean, she definitely is working for both households, but her primary goal is to reform or rehabilitate or somehow enhance the Welleses, to somehow uplift them to the public as capable, credible people. I got a bunch of Becky slides that I could share, but I don't have enough time right now. You know, I can build a case, but I'm not going to do it right now. It's just a little bit too much. But let her hands do the talking. Let those vicious, gnarly, bumpy, veiny, blubbery hands do all of the talking. I'll save my breath. But she is a very, very nasty person. She is. She is vicious, 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 vicious. And she disguises it with that very pleasant demeanor of hers, like she ought to be somewhere ringing a school bell or something. But that is a horrible person. Absolutely horrible. So Big Head Becky strikes again. I can't say I'm surprised. And I do believe she works in concert with Richard Eden. They seem to have a pact together to try to tear down any possibility of reconciliation. The two of them. I think they are the lead reporters in the role of trying to tear down the possibility of reconciliation. Now, Charles has been around for a long time, and Lord knows he has seen everything twice and many more times than that. But he is also a very foolish man. And there is every possibility that he is going to fall for the okie doke, that he is going to walk right into this trap. I mean, look at the headline. King Charles is perplexed by Prince Harry's claim men in gray suits are sabotaging his reconciliation with his father. And of course, that is a Rebecca English article. And that was preceded by some fear malign forces are trying to drive a wedge between the king and his heir. Here's the truth. So first, she say there are some forces, and now she has graduated to trying to make Harry seem confused and foolish, and dare I say somewhat malicious, especially toward the men in gray suits, including Clive Alderton. This is very calculating. It is very carefully calculated for the usual outcome, and that is putting Harry back in the box again, keeping him, I guess, keeping him off his feet, making sure that he's clumsy and unable to be sure of himself when it comes to this reconciliation. Now, hopefully, things have progressed too far for this to work, but it's not going to stop her from trying it. I mean, look at there. She kept trying every diet there's known to mankind, and she finally found something that works, which is why her body is getting smaller and her hands and her head is getting bigger by the day. Yeah, I said it. King Charles, saddened and perplexed by Prince Harry's bombshell accusation of sabotage, the Duke of Sussex issued a bombshell statement. You know, they love to say bombshell, appearing to accuse courtiers of leaking information about a meeting with his father. Now, they are putting the blame on Charles and his courtiers and not William and his courtiers. So if William's protector is trying to shift the blame to Clarence House, what are the chances that this isn't directly coming from Kensington Palace? You see how diabolical they are? Do you see how diabolical they are? They're not even trying Montecito, because Harry has already swatted that back down. So when Harry made that statement, what happens? All of a sudden, they recalibrate the situation and they shift the blame not to Montecito, but paranoid Harry is trying to blame King Charles courtiers. I mean, that is diabolical. But the one place that she will not allow the blame to rest is Kensington Palace. Do you see how effed up this is? My only fear is that she'll get away with it, or they will get away with it. But I promise you, they don't want anyone to focus on Kensington Palace. They want everyone to look at Clarence House. And of course, to offend Charles, right? To make sure that the king is offended, they frame it as King Charles is perplexed by Harry's claim men in gray suits, meaning his staff, his courtiers, are sabotaging his reconciliation with his father. Now, the big question is, did Charles say that? Who knows? Does Charles believe it? If that is indeed his feeling, it doesn't quote him. It just says that he's perplexed. So that right there, let's think about that. It's not a direct quote, I mean, who walks around and says, my goodness, dear God, I am perplexed. And who would he, whom or who would he have said that to? That Rebecca English would then take it. I was going to say run, but I don't think she's there yet. That Rebecca English would take it and then use it in this way. I mean, I'm just trying to put a fine point on this just to figure out where is it coming from? Who does it serve? Well, it serves William. It's coming from Rebecca English. So that means it's from William. Because I think the pecking order is Rebecca English puts William's house first and then Clarence house. Now, there are occasions as the senior editor, she will travel with the king and she will write favorably for the king. But I think that this is an attempt to sow seeds of confusion and doubt that it could possibly have come from Kensington Palace. And maybe, just maybe, the words of Tom Sykes was just a little bit too, shall we say, jarring for her taste. That she was shaken up by the fact that Tom Sykes, who is a very popular royal reporter with the Daily Beast, I mean, a lot of people defer to him time and time again. It has a great deal more authority, as much, if not more, than what she's trying to do here. So again, let's go back to Rebecca English. How do you frame it in a way that it seems like it's more plausible than what Tom Sykes has said? Well, you quote the king. You quote the king. King Charles is perplexed. I mean, we could go back and forth with this for a while, but I think we've gotten enough out of this to understand what's going on here. In my opinion, Kensington Palace wants desperately to derail any possibility of reconciliation. And because Clarence House seems to have been given the order from the king to make this happen, misquote the king, divert any attention away from Kensington Palace, and on top of that, make it seem like it's Harry back to his old dirty tricks again. Something to think about, ain't it? You know what, Reba Henderson, you just inspired me to think of another thing. Charles and Harry are sniffing out all the backstabbers. When Charles' funeral was leaked, they knew then there was a mole. When their comms team met and leaked, they knew there was a mole. More exposure. So let me add one more thing to that. Actually, you know what? I forgot what I was going to add. I forgot what I was going to throw in there. Oh, never mind. I think that probably does it. But thank you for that. It was something to do with leak. Oh well, it'll come back to me. It'll come back to me. But I must admit, this is very interesting. Hazel Jones says, I think there are two fronts. Blobby distracting people from the KP mess and Alderton fighting for his life. Yes, I can see that. Well, there's no way Clive is going anywhere while Charles is alive. Does William and Clive have some type of agreement? You know what I'm saying? Because Clive would be very handy to have around in William's reign. Someone from that household is likely to continue service. And there's no reason to believe that Clive Alderton would not be one of them. Then there's something else that we have to consider is that as we get closer to a King William, as we get closer, think about this. There is going to be a change in household. There is going to be a push to, just like they did with Queen Elizabeth. I don't know how possible this will be, because let us not forget, there is another factor. She is not sovereign. She will never be sovereign. But I don't think anybody should underestimate how tenacious that this one is. Now, would she be willing to undermine Charles to make a deal with other people? Sure she would. Sure she would, because she's that person. Is that what's at play right now? Don't know. I do not know. But keep an eye on this one. Keep an eye on that one. She's been very quiet lately. She has been very quiet lately. And that's all I can say about her for now, is that she's been very, very quiet lately. Okay. Okay. Thank you for that, Hazel Jones. So he didn't get there the normal way. Now, Alderton, though, he was put in place by Charles, right? Because I know there was some people very loyal to the Queen that were kind of pushed out because of Charles. And then at a certain point, the Queen did not really have full control of her household. And it was even said that there was a complete loss of respect for the Queen's household, and that people were deferring to Charles. Now, exactly when that moment came, I don't know. And this is why I keep telling you all, I know that there's a sentiment among the squatties that the Queen should have done more, the Queen could have done more. I'm not sure that that's accurate. And even if the Queen was in her right mind all the way up to the end, the one thing that you cannot ignore is the fact that Charles is the heir, and she is going to defer to him, even if she has to hold her nose to do it. I mean, it's kind of baked into it, isn't it? So I don't know up to what point the Queen actually was running things. And so when they say the Queen said no half in, no half out, I don't believe it. I do not believe it. The Queen could be rather accommodating for family, very accommodating. And it seems like Charles is using that same spirit of accommodation when it comes to his brother. But the fact that the Queen would allow Fergie to join her up until the point Philip showed up means that the Queen was very flexible when it comes to certain things, right? And this is just my opinion. If you disagree, fine. But I think the Queen had lost a lot of friends over the years, and that she became more dependent upon her family for company. Right? She outlived a lot of people. Sophie found a way back. And on more than one occasion, Sarah Ferguson found a way back. They all seem to find a way back. So I don't know that the Queen was so malicious about anything. But I do know Charles seemed to be a regent in all but name. And maybe this is why there is a disjointed thing going on with Charles and William, that William may feel as though he wants to take over the household. I mean, why wouldn't he? His father is ill, so they say. And what better time to take over the reins of power than when you know the old man is down? I mean, there's a reason why Charles was very forthcoming about his prostate. But when it came to the actual cancer, mum's the word. Why is that so? To reassure the public or to keep his son at bay? Where the hell is Legs? We need Legs for this one. Where's Legs? This is about that point where Legs would throw something in there and I'd be like, you know what? Okay, anyway. So yeah, the Daily Express, the fail, and I guess they're all running with that same story from Rebecca English. But remember, Rebecca English is the head of the Royal Rota. And if there is a WhatsApp group, trust me, she's the one leading the group. She's the one that is issuing out the alleged talking points. And then everybody else picks up on them. So take a look here. Again, Harry, men in gray suits are sabotaging my reunion with my father. Over here, Kate Manzi says, the palace is understood to be saddened and perplexed, there it is again, by the latest accusations from the Duke of Sussex, in which he suggested that sources close to the king have attempted to sabotage his fragile reconciliation with the king. And of course, where does that arrow take you to? Rebecca English again. And here, the Times, well, they put that little small thing up in the corner there, Prince Harry and those men in gray suits. Damn, that's brief, isn't it? We've seen a lot of speculation and conjecture in recent weeks about supposed tensions at the top of the royal family. So, what is the truth of it all? Well, the truth of it is whatever you say it is, because you are going to take those gnarly looking hands and spin the story however you choose. Every article, every tweet is guidance for the rest of the Royal Rota. Every bit of it. And I guess maybe, I don't know which came first. Was it Tom Sykes or was it Becky the Blob? I'm thinking Tom must have said whatever he said. And then in a panic, she decided, oh, crap, I got to respond to this. Can't have anybody listening to him. This is an old slide that I had. Thank you. Gift link below. I don't follow royal stuff, but the parallels between the awful role the UK tabloids played in Brexit and how they behaved to Harry and Meghan. The royal family rest of press playing ball with it prompted me to write this. So they've let the queen down. That whole thing was to infer that there was some type of elder abuse. Oh, they didn't even tell the queen, and so on and so forth. I mean, right up to the end when they left, it was nothing but the same hate-filled articles claiming that the Sussexes were being so unfair. And there you can see on the right, polls now strip them of their titles. The other little abuse that is hurled at them constantly. But there's I believe that this was a New York Times article that she wrote. Britain's most revered institution plays ball with one of the most revolting institutions, even if family members are hurt. And that is the shocking part of it. A lot of people cannot wrap their brains around the fact that you would have someone like a William trying to hurt his brother, that you would have someone like a Charles trying to hurt his children. But that is the way that family operates. So who knows where Charles' head is at the moment? But we do know one thing, that if his back is against the wall, he is going to come out on the dark side. He's done it before. They will lie to protect themselves and won't tell the truth to protect the other family members. That is a proven fact. So there's a pecking order. They move up the ranks, right? You'll see how they move up, and they're from government jobs. Okay. And are you saying that Clive found a shortcut or a different route? Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Charles is only perplexed on this occasion. On other occasions, when you would think he would be perplexed, nah, he wasn't perplexed. He was out foraging for mushrooms, no doubt. Okay, so I'm going to leave that for now. Saw this today. Meryl Streep, Miranda Priestley meets Anna Wintour filming Devil Wears Prada 2 at Milan's fashion show. Streep's character as the fictional editor-in-chief of Runway magazine was inspired by Vogue's Wintour. Yes. You'll notice that there's a picture of Queen Elizabeth and Anna Wintour. To save you all from, I guess, being shaken to the core, I cropped someone out of that photo. You already know who it was. I had to crop her out of the photo because seeing her is way too triggering, and I couldn't take it myself. So I'm like, yeah, she's got to go. She's got to go. She's in a Grace and Favor cottage right now. But yeah, she had to go. Anyway, that did happen. The Queen actually, and that was not in the article. I just kind of added a few photos. The two photos on the left were with the article. Now, even though the character is based on Anna Wintour, she wanted a very distinct hair style that would stand out but not look identical, of course. And they met before. There was like, I guess, I don't know who was, I guess they were interviewing each other. But yeah, it was all very quaint and cozy. Uh, Meryl Streep went to her office. I believe this may have been the office on Broadway. I'm not sure. I know they moved to One World Trade, but yeah, they had a little conversation. And you have to be very much uh, you have to you would have had to have made Anna Wintour comfortable if she removed her sunglasses, which she did. I mean, she didn't even remove her sunglasses with Queen Elizabeth. So, um, can't wait for the movie. Should be a lot of fun. Now, I have this little treat for you. I know that is Tina Brown, but pay no attention to her. There was a reason why I trotted Anna Wintour out. First of all, I thought it would be fun to talk about The Devil Wears Prada too. But there's another reason, which you will agree is most appropriate. Okay, wait for it. Wait for it. Hmm. No, that's not it. Okay, let me try that again. Let me try it again. Huh. Nope, that's not working out. Let me try this. Oh my goodness. I forgot to hmm. Let me see. Is that right? Let me check this first. Oh no, I thought I did do that. Maybe I didn't. Oh boy. Okay, I'm so sorry for the delay. The delay. Let me try this. It will be well worth it. It may have been something you'd never seen before, but I just happen to have saved it. Okay, this is what I'll do because I just want to make sure I do this right. So let me put this one up here. Just to prepare for the nuclear winter.
uniform the best solution for working women?
I think that's an entirely personal decision. Tina, I know you have your uniform and it works very well for you.
Not as well as yours, I have to say, but
Now, that is Anna Wintour and Tina Brown. So when they speak uniform, Tina Brown is asking Anna Wintour about her signature look, including the same shoes that she wears. She has like so many pairs of them, and she just get them remade over and over again. She has like one style of shoe, well, one make of shoe and one make of boot that she wears almost all the time. So I'll let this continue. I wish I could share the video, but I just don't want to get in trouble.
And there, you know, other women who, you know, love to be chameleons and to change and surprise us. I mean, it's probably just a very easy decision to think about wearing the same thing every day and not to have to be concerned. But, you know, I think it's a little bit, maybe it's a little bit boring and it's time to change. I've been thinking a lot about suits recently. So.
Really? Okay, good. I want to see that.
Thank you, the Duchess of Sussex, right?
Absolutely. Speaking of which, I mean, how do you, the new you know, Duchess of Sussex, Meghan Markle, she and Kate, obviously very different styles. What do you think that Meghan is bringing to fashion right now?
Well, I think that she obviously has her own style and has looked fantastic. I thought her choice of Claire for her wedding was amazing. And I think more importantly, you know, obviously her style is fantastic and she's... I think when she went on that trip to Australia and New Zealand, she was very respectful in choosing a lot of unknown Australian designers to wear, which was great. But I think more importantly, she's really bringing modernity to the royal family in a way that is inspiring. I think the image that I have in my mind, that I think so many people all over the world have in their mind of the Duchess of Sussex walking down the aisle by herself, you know, that to me was representative of a modern woman. And then looking at her extraordinarily beautiful and proud mother in the pew, to me that symbolized, goodness, this is going to be a different day for the British royal family.
Right. No, it was stunning. Anna, you and I together had lunch with Princess Diana 6 weeks before she died. Yes. In Four Seasons.
Okay, well, like I said, I knew you would like it, so I wanted to make sure that I could share it with you. I gave you a couple of little sneak peeks there, but I think that's about all I could do with that. But yeah, so that was Anna Wintour with her very gushing approval of the Duchess of Sussex and that god-awful Tina Brown. Tina Brown, who is not going to ever let anybody forget that she had lunch with Princess Diana, and therefore she is the authority on all things royal for having had lunch with Princess Diana, right? Right. But yeah, that I thought that was very sweet. I forgot I had this, to be honest with you. I was trying to look for something else, and then I found it. I'm just like, oh, I remember this. So again, thank you, Nuclear Wintour. Now, which brings me to another spot of bother. Yes, Anna Wintour could be brutal, but like me, somebody's got main character syndrome. But like me, she'll surely feel a deep sense of loss to walk away from the cashmere nest that is the editor's chair at Vogue. Now, that is from that person, Alexandra Shulman. Number one, there is no comparison between Anna Wintour, as shady as she can be, there is no comparison between the two. Anna Wintour is elegant and stylish. She looks like the editor of Vogue, whereas Alexander Shulman, she kind of looks like, who invited their mom? Whose mother is that? I mean, she's one of those people that probably look like somebody's mama in the 5th grade, right? Are you with me with that one? She probably looked like somebody's mama in the 5th grade. There was a lot of confusion how she even became the editor of Vogue UK. Yes, she was editor of the British Vogue. The Vogue is the one that Anna Wintour heads. That's the one that influences all other Vogue magazines, right? And by the way, this whole idea that like me, no, she ain't like you, because you know it's different. When Anna Wintour steps down, she is going up. When she steps down, she's going up. She's going to upper management. She is going to have an influence over all of Condé Nast, which she really already does, but it'll become more official. Whereas Alexander Schulman, she's lucky to write the odd column for the Daily Mail. Now, why do I have it in for that vicious bowl of Jello? Well, she said some disparaging things about the Duchess of Sussex, and I've had it in for her ever since. A farmer's mama. Okay. Yes. Who invited the milkmaid? Let's see here. How to tackle Fashion Week as editor of British Vogue. Do you know how glad they were to see the back of her? Do you know how glad they were she left? They were excited. Now, look at this. She had them share the photo of her last day at Vogue. See how they're applauding, and she has her head down like she's so emotional. She's not sure that she can go on. Oh, this is going to be so tragic. Not for British Vogue, it won't. After all those years you wasted there doing much of nothing, while people secretly went and bought the American Vogue. Even in Britain, they chose the American Vogue because, well, I mean, after all, who would want something from her? I mean, some of the comments that people have said about her over the years, people in the profession, she was not very popular. And Anna Wintour is being very generous with her time, even taking a photo with her. Let me see. Where is it? I love to share this as often as possible because it's just so pitiful. But I'm going to share with you a direct quote about that person. Let me see. Where is it? I mean, they really, really got her together. Okay. Where is that at? Okay, right here. It says Schulman, on the other hand, has has a more relatable appearance and a self-deprecating humor to go with it. She has cheerfully recounted to the press the time the newspaper story described the various Vogue editors around the world had her pegged as a chain smoking 50-year-old Toyota driving divorcee. But she's no less influential with her decision to step down after 25 years at the top of Britain's fashion Bible, making waves internationally. God, they tolerated her for 25 years. I bet you they wasn't paying her nothing. Or how about this? As Schulman took on the role as editor in chief of Vogue in 1992, some speculated that she was not experienced enough for the role. Furthermore, others commented that her personal appearance did not conform to previous Vogue editors. As the New York Times noted, the British press has made much of the fact that when it comes to personal wardrobe, Miss Schulman could learn a thing or two from Miss Tiberius's trademark Chanel, and that she could also become better acquainted with a hairbrush. It has been noted that it is still remarked upon that she doesn't look like an editor of Vogue. I mean, she's been gone for years, and they're still saying, how in the hell did she get that position? How did she get there? That is a puzzling question. How did she become the editor of Vogue? She certainly doesn't look like an editor. Probably because they wasn't paying her much. I mean, let's face it. Would you expect much if you were? Yeah, that's what I thought. Um, here's one of her horrible columns. Best bit of Meghan's dull palace is the chicken coop. Alexandra Shulman says room where Duchess's birthday video was filmed exemplifies the chasm between money and taste. Money and taste? Was it elegant when she stood in her underwear so that she can air her grievances about her body and her appearance? How she has finally come to terms with being Alexandra Shulman? Was that tasteful? Or what about look at her living room? Now, she is saying that the Montecito Manor lacks taste, right? Well, whatever is lacking in taste, I'm sure it makes up for it by volume, because I can see straight through your house, lady, straight through that charity shop of a house that you live in. All of that Goodwill retro mid-century furnishing, because you just don't want to be taken too serious. Hang it up, girl. Hang it up. The Vogue magazine was glad to get rid of you. You were holding it down for years. And let's face it, most people were buying the American version or the French version. Hell, they were probably buying versions from as far away as Tierra del Fuego, Argentina. They'd rather travel to Tierra del Fuego, Argentina, to pick up a copy of Vogue, knowing that you didn't edit the magazine. I'm so tired of these middle-aged, chain smoking, no hairbrush using divorcees that are trying to work out all of their personal issues in the pages of the Daily Mail and the Sun and so on. Don't they have a friend to speak to? Don't you have a best friend? Obviously, your best friend is not the hairbrush. Otherwise, I mean, do you know how awful you have to be that the New York Times would write an article questioning the fact that you were the editor of a fashion magazine, let alone for 25 years? 25 years. But you know what? On the shadier side of things, maybe keeping her around was Anna Wintour's way of staying on top. That you would have a constant comparison. If you do not keep me here at the head of Vogue US, it could easily turn into Vogue UK. And nobody wants that. I mean, take a look at it. Or her. What a miserable person. What a miserable person. And she has the caucasity to question Meghan's taste. This is the same Meghan in the same spaces that Ted Sarandos very elegantly said that people couldn't get enough. that even the throw on the back of the chair, a little blanket, sold out. Everything sold out. The $20 shoes sold out. I wonder, what is it in Alexander Schulman's house that sells out? Huh? What sells out in that place? Is it that quasi canopy bed? What are we, 12 years old? We've always wanted a canopy bed. We don't want to do anything with it. We don't want any of the trimmings. We just want rails over the bed for some odd reason. I don't even want to know how she uses that. But yeah. And I bet you that some of the stuff that she wears, I mean, let's face it, she's had access to some beautiful clothing. But by the time she puts it on, you wouldn't know it. You couldn't know it because it wasn't meant for someone like her. And it's not because of her size. She's not so large. She's just so wrong. I mean, I've seen plenty plus size models that could wear anything they want to because they know how to wear it, because the clothes speak to them and they to the clothes. But Alexander Schulman, everything she wears looked like something just scared the shit out of it. What a miserable person. It exemplifies the chasm between money and taste. You want to see something that exemplifies a contrast? Take a look at the picture on the screen there. That's an exemplary image that contrasts that right there. Someone who hasn't let herself go and someone who never was anything to begin with. Someone who was just lucky, an opportunist that just happened to sit in that same chair for 25 miserable, unsuccessful, unimpressive years. No wonder British Vogue didn't excel. Look who was heading it. I'm sure every other issue of Vogue kept her in place as a cautionary tale. This is what happens when you have the wrong editor. So every Vogue around the world would look to Alexander Schulman as the worst possible decision when it comes to hiring an editor. This is what happens when nobody cares. Good grief. The editor of, I mean, if I pointed and said, oh, look, that's the editor, well, a former editor of Vogue magazine. Where? Right there. Where? It. Right there. That. No. Yeah. Yeah. That was the editor of the British Vogue. Oh, British Vogue. I mean, even that seems unlikely. This is more like the editor of Vogue Mongolia. Yeah. Yes, where there's cattle herders and such. Cutting edge fashion for the mistress of the cattle herders. Certainly, I mean, you could imagine someone like this in the Mojave Desert, wouldn't you? Not on the streets of London. That shouldn't be allowed. Okay, I think I'm done with her. Ugh. Ugh. Okay, so no show, Kitty. Good luck, England. I ain't coming. Okay, I think we did that. Get off one's land. Get it? Get off one's land. Park closed off as Wheels moves in. So many of us have been walking our dogs here for 20 years. So to be told we can't anymore is a kick in the teeth. Well, that is what one of the women in the community said. That is a kick in the teeth. Hey, Legs, we were looking for you earlier. We were having a real Legs moment. But that's okay. Better here now than not at all. So, Will and Kate are changing the area. You see there? Windsor Great Park. This car park will be permanently closed from 29/9/25. The nearest car park is Ranger Car Park. Further information and details of alternative car parks can be found here. In other words, Will and Kate are so inconsiderate that they are moving outside of the iron security perimeter around Windsor Castle, and they are setting up a satellite security zone just because Will and Kate wanted to move into Forest Lodge. This is going to cost the taxpayers millions of dollars over the years, not to mention an inconvenience to the people in the community. Now, they have painted a picture of everyone agreeing, oh my goodness, yes, the future king and queen consort, yes, we will leave. We will stop doing our normal task. We will uproot our families. Anything for the sake of the future king and queen consort. Not everybody feels the same way. Trust and believe, not everyone feels the same way. There are some people who are quite put off by this, because that means that their usual green space where they walked their dogs, where they hiked or strolled, is going to be off limits now because of Will and Kate. They are putting up security fence. It says Will and Kate will be protected by a huge no-go area, banning locals from land near their home. CCTV cameras, massive fencing, and landscaping will keep trespassers away from 8-bed Forest Lodge in Windsor in Great Park Berks. Great Park Berks, whatever that means. I'm sorry, Forest Lodge in Windsor Great Parks, and that is from Berks, whatever that means. Okay, dog fed up. Yeah, fed up dog walkers were given their marching orders from the area near William and Kate's forever home, their new forever home, and said the home office closure, that is, of the car park and loss of access is a kick in the teeth. The Prince and the Princess of Wales, both 43. That's it? They're only 43? Wow. Anyway, George, Charlotte, and Louis will be protected by a no-go zone around 8 bedroom. Why do they keep, and anyway, I guess it's the Daily Mail. You have to keep saying 8 bedrooms. A car park and gate access to Windsor Great Park, which locals forked out £110 a year to use, shut for good at 7 p.m. Trespassers on the land will face arrest under post into ground yesterday as Windsor half marathon participants ran past an older road due to the pending designation of part of the Great Park as an exclusive area. So this area is now exclusive and restrictive. It's exclusive and restrictive. Okay? It's a no-go zone. Access via Cranbourne Gate will permanently cease. Some residents were annoyed but accepted the royal security as the utmost importance. Mechanical engineer Tom Bunn, 32, often parks at the gate and takes his 9-year-old pooch, Mr. Brown, on a walk through the fields near Forest Lodge. Tom from Maidenhead, Berks, said, obviously, it's disappointing as my dog loves it here. Well, not anymore, sir. Let me see what else. We come here every couple of weeks, and we're going to have to find somewhere else now for him to get the miles in. But I completely understand the safety of William and Kate and their family is paramount, so we should make sure. I wonder if they gave him a free t-shirt. We should make sure they can live happily here. A woman from nearby Winkfield said many of us have been walking our dogs here for 20 years. So to be told we can't anymore is a kick in the teeth. We pay annually toward the upkeep of a park, but we are no longer going to be allowed to use it. They only given us a few days notice to say this section of the forest is closing forever. Now I'll need to get my car to drive further afield to take my dog for a walk. Locals have been able to apply to hold keys to Cranbourne's gate if they lived within half a mile. So this is a very exclusive green space. And now they're kicked out. Yeah. No doubt, Heather Stroud. Jacqueline, welcome. Okay. So, this is what I just shared with you. Now, Kate Middleton, to learn about Royal Air Force Poland mission after wearing Polish earrings. Kate Middleton will make her first official visit to Royal Air Force is at Coningsby on October 2nd, since becoming Royal Honorary Air Force Commander in 2023. In other words, they have found some busy work for her. Remember, the Sussexes have a very busy October. And so to counter that, they are going to exhaust themselves trying to find something for Kate to do. I wonder if she's going to take her hair with her. Yes, she'll probably take her hair with her. Veritas says, I can't. Prince Harry visiting a Polish food while in Ukraine makes news the other day, and all of a sudden, Kitty is interested in Royal Air Force Polish missions because of earrings. Yeah, you really can't make that up. You really cannot make that up. That sounds very made up. Speaking of made up, this is Kate in one of those rare exhibits of public speaking. As you can see, she is the very model of decorum. She is calm, cool, and collected. She is very, very relaxed as she tries to articulate the message for the listeners. You know what? I recognize that dress. Isn't this that Charity where they said she hasn't been there for 8 years. Maybe that's why she looks like that. I think that's the that's the charity where the guy called her out and said, "Well, you haven't been here for 8 years, Mom. It's been 8 years." Yes, that's the speech. Yes. Yes, girl, she's trying to give a speech. Yes, she was trying to speak. And look at this one. Let me see. I guess I'm going to say for certain this is the wig. I don't think, well, yeah, those are wiglets. That is the wig. Now, believe it or not, you guys, I'm just about done, but I'm going to stick around for a little bit. Um, in case you're wondering who are represented by these cartoon characters, or at least should I say what animals? Daffy Duck, Sylvester the cat, and of course, Wile E. Coyote. Yes, he is a coyote. Bugs Bunny, and of course, the Tasmanian Devil, and Roadrunner. Yes, if they were not if they were not cartoons, this is what they would look like. Now, imagine all of these characters being friends in real life. Yeah. Well, at least in the cartoons, they are. Well, they're friends, and in some cases, arch nemesis, like Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote. Get it? Wild Coyote, Wile E. Coyote. And lastly, you guys get your calculator out. I said, get those calculators out. This actually works. You take 85 beers. So put 85 beers in your calculator, okay? Are you doing it? 85 beers, right? Minus your age and then add 40. Now, if your birthday hasn't come around yet, just put whatever birthday you will be this year, right? If it hasn't passed already, put that birthday in there. So, again, minus your age. And then add 40. And that will give you the year you were born. Did it work? It worked for me. I repeat, 85 minus your age plus 40. So minus how old you are this year, and then add 40 to it. And that will give you the year you were born. I don't know how this works. Now, Heather Stroud, did your birthday pass? Because if your birthday hasn't passed, then it should be right. I mean, you want to put the year you were born. I mean, not the year, but whatever age you'll be this year. But if it's only by one, still, that's not bad. Isn't that crazy, Rory? Isn't that crazy? How does that work? How does that work? 85 minus your age, and I even did it for someone else and it worked. 85 minus your age plus 40. So minus however old you are, and then add 40 to that. How crazy is that? How crazy is that? Okay, yes, I see. So Heather Stroud says 1 year. Rory says yes. Antoinette Kennedy, yes. Hazel Jones said yes. Wow. Legs. Reba Henderson. How does that work? Yes, that's spooky. The Ultimate TV says it works. So wow, it's universal. It works. Gerda Sifrin, thank you for sharing. Yes. How spooky is that? That is weird that that works. But how does it work? Legs, you explain it to us. Ella Parker says yes. How does that work? I'm afraid. How does that work? Sharon Skinner says off by 1 year. Okay. Although I'm going to remind you guys, do make sure if your birthday has not passed, put whatever year that you will be this year. Put your birthday for this year, even if it hasn't passed yet. So if you know you're going to be 40 this year, then put 40. Even if your birthday's in October, November, December, put it in there. Am I supposed to drink beer? Sure, why not? Well, you guys, I don't know how this works. And I've seen something like this before and it worked. I don't know how that works. Now, there is at least one squatty that I know that is 80 years of age. So I wonder if that worked for them. Let me see. So it's 85 beers minus 80 plus 40, 1945. Wow. Go figure. Well, y'all, I thought this would be a fun exercise. I hope you all enjoyed it. Aha. Yes. See, I was wondering if you put the age you will be this year. And it worked. Got it. See there? Very important because my birthday hasn't passed. So it was off by 1 year for me. But when I added the year of birth, then of course it worked. Ah, Cookies and Cream says it works. Okay. Well, you guys, I have not put a spell on anyone. I don't know how this works, but it just does. So, yeah, that is fun. Anyway, you guys, I am done for today. Thank you all so much. I've had a great time. Remember, our Duchess and the Duke, they have some stuff coming up. And earlier, we took a peek at some of the fashions that Meghan has sported on the red carpet in the past. Not everything, of course, but just a few select outfits, wondering exactly what will we see this time? Because remember, there's a gala coming up. I think that's what, on the 15th? And then also they're going to be presented an award. So I believe that is 2 opportunities to see Meghan in a gown in 1 month. Am I right about that? Am I right about that? Probably some witch or warlock made that sign. Somebody who maybe it's something subliminal. I mean, why beer? Why beer? It could have been anything. But I've seen something like this before and it did work. So I don't know why it works, but it just does. Yeah, it just does. Kind of scary. Yes, the yellow. The yellow. Yes. Love it. I don't know what it is about that yellow that really uh felt amazing. It wasn't just it looked amazing, but seeing her in it, I just felt I don't know, I just felt something. I'm just like, wow. Wow. It's like a confirmation that our Duchess has been regal all along. Yeah, that she was meant to be a royal princess. She wears princess very well. Yeah, she wears princess very well. No doubt about it. I don't know. I don't know. Um, I really can't say. I don't know. Yes, I don't know. I don't know where. I mean, because I pretty much took care of my bucket list. So it'd be a matter of me going someplace that I've never been before just to say I went there. But most of the stuff, I think I've pretty much done it already. But I mean, there's always some place or something. So I'd have to think about that. I've never been on a cruise before, so I've been playing with the idea of taking a cruise. And me being such an oddball, of course, the only cruise I want to take is actually an ocean liner, the last remaining ocean liner. I have this dream of leaving Southampton and showing up days later at New York Harbor with the Statue of Liberty in the distance. The sun's rising, the Statue of Liberty is there, and there's the skyline of New York. I want to see what the Ellis Island people. I want to see what they were able to see back in the days of Ellis Island. I thought that would be really interesting. So, and I know the North Atlantic is awful in the winter months. So that is something that you definitely would want to do in the summer. If you've had the idea of doing that, do not go in the winter time because it is it can be really, really bad. Um, Especially if you're prone to seasickness. Summer is so much better and so much more expensive. But yes, where would I go? I don't know. I did not spend enough time in Tokyo. Um, and for that matter, I didn't even see any other city but Tokyo. But Japan was special. Japan is very special. Yeah, I really love Japan. I think Japan is probably uh the most otherworldly. Yeah, if I would describe it, I'd say it was so foreign and yet very familiar. I mean, they use the same plugs we use. Now, I didn't notice that they had any plugs that had the three prongs, but the two-prong plugs that they have. Oh, let's see here. Wow. Okay. Love, exciting and new. Come aboard. We're expecting you, and love won't hurt anymore. It's an open ride to a friendly shore, the love boat. Soon we'll be making another run. The love boat promises something for everyone. Set a course for adventure, your heart on a new romance and love. Oh man. Welcome aboard is love. You know, The Love Boat was filmed in a studio. They weren't even on a real ship. They were in a. I mean, I couldn't tell when I was younger, but I'm like, wait a minute, that's not a real boat. They're in a studio. But it was fun though. Um, I loved Love Boat and Fantasy Island. They used to come on back to back. Welcome to Fantasy Island. The plane, the plane, hey boss, the plane. It's a great place where washed up actors and has-beens could earn a decent paycheck. Now, because of his race, the bartender Isaac got very little screen time. He was just there to help white people sort out their problems and smile a lot. But I do recall there was one episode where Captain Steubing was not on board. They had someone else in charge. And Isaac helped save the ship. Now, you would think, oh, that's kind of like made up. That would never happen. Actually, it did happen in real life where I don't think the guy was a bartender. I think he was in the band, but he had sailed so many times and he had been in a situation very similar as that. And he saved a lot of lives, even though he was this low ranking member on board the ship. He wasn't black, of course. But the point is, it was someone that you would not expect to have had the experience to do that, but they did. So, but yeah, that they didn't give Isaac much of a role, and he had to kind of define his character. Although I do remember one of the episodes with Scatman Crothers, and Scatman Crothers he played um, like a vaudevillian Chitlin Circuit character who embarrassed Isaac because, you know, he did a lot of that step and fetch it like stuff. And Isaac was very cold to him. And all of the other people on the ship was like, what's wrong with Isaac? Why is he being so shady? Well, when Isaac found out that this guy was actually more than people assumed, that he had actually had these incredible experiences and how he actually paved the way for other black entertainers to the mainstream. Of course, this is all the characters and such. It's fictitious, but real life stories were used as inspiration. Um, then all of a sudden, of course, Isaac warmed up to him. So that's about the only serious role that I remember he had. And a couple of times I think they let him have a romance. But other than that, Isaac was just there to listen to people's problems and sort out their problems and say something really clever and very stereotypical type of role for a black cast member. But it was the 1970s, right? So things changed now. Oh, those are two of your favorite shows? Yeah, they're pretty. Well, when the pilot of Love Boat premiered, I was not the brightest kid. I was not the sharpest tool in the shed. I was so disappointed that I watched this 2-hour pilot and the damn boat didn't sink. I'm like, well, when are they going to sink the ship? I thought for sure it was a disaster movie. I'm like, oh, I got to watch Love Boat because, I was a weird kid. I kind of got off on disasters, the towering inferno, um, to sink the Bismarck, airport, airport 71 or 75 or whatever. What's another disaster movie? I like those movies. And so I was waiting for the damn boat to sink and it didn't sink. I'm like, I'm looking at the clock. I'm like, well, this is about to go off. If they're going to sink this boat, they need to do it before I go to bed. And it never did happen. Well, I didn't know that it was going to be a TV series, number one. And number two, I thought if it was a boat, that means that there was going to be a disaster. I mean, how many times did I watch what is it, A Night to Remember? That Titanic movie? How many times did I watch that? Oh, yes, and a Poseidon Adventure. Ooh, that was a good movie, wasn't it? That was a good movie, The Poseidon Adventure, where the boat turned upside down, a rogue wave knocked it over. That was a great movie. I love that movie. Do you remember the theme song? There's got to be a morning after if I can make it through the night. Oh, yes, there'll be a morning after. Yes, I remember the theme song, The Morning After. Oh, yes, there'll be a morning after if I can make it through the night. They just don't make them like that no more. Uh, that was not the Titanic. Oh, yeah, I know. The Poseidon Adventure was not the Titanic. The Poseidon Adventure, remember the black and white version of it. It was called A Night to Remember or something like that. But yeah, I know they were totally different things. Number one, the Poseidon was actually a fictitious ship. It did not exist. It was named after the Greek god Poseidon, the Greek god Poseidon. So yeah, I don't confuse the two. The Poseidon Adventure was a rogue wave, and the Titanic hit the iceberg. Let me see. So yes, the morning after was for the Poseidon Adventure. I remember Shelley Winters, Ernest Borgnine, the actor that bears a striking resemblance to Queen Camilla, the Queen Consort. And I don't remember the names of the other people, but Shelley Winters, Ernest Borgnine, those two I remember. Oh, you got it. You got it. Great. Yeah, it was a little confusing, the instructions, and I think I tried it 3 times before I figured it out. Yeah, did you know that Shelley Winters was roommates with Marilyn Monroe? They actually shared an apartment for a while. They were roommates. Yep, Shelley Winters. Oh, by the way, you guys, don't forget to vote. Do not forget to vote for Meghan. The link is at the community post. Oh my goodness, the Marx Brothers. Did you guys know the Marx Brothers used to live in Chicago? And they're going to put a monument to the Marx Brothers in the house that they used to live in. That's what it says here, Chicago brownstone, which is not brown. They don't really have brownstones in Chicago. They have a few, but it's brownstone is kind of generic for any of those older houses. But it says here, Chicago brownstone, once home to the Marx Brothers, highlights the city's role in shaping one of the most iconic comedy teams in film history. The house is actually designed in a very French chateau style. A lot of the old mansions in Chicago, those townhouses, they all have that kind of like French, like the turrets and the finials, and kind of like a French Gothic style. There's a lot of those in Chicago, in the older neighborhoods. Oh, you just gave me an idea because I just happen to have at least 4 of them. Okay, thank you for the heads up. Oh, the Royal Rebel. Yes, yes. Wasn't that a very interesting documentary? And I like that you can just watch it at one sitting instead of coming back and forth for days, or, binging it or whatever. That was really interesting. And I didn't really care for him at first, but now I'm kind of fond of him. Before I was just like, a grifter, a grifter. But they really love each other. And what sold me is the fact that her interest in the spiritual world was something that she did on her own. I thought that she was just like, looking for answers and just happened upon him, and, the usual story. But that's not the case. She was a little weirdo in her own right. So she was already into that stuff before she met him. So that right there is what made me feel better about their relationship. Before, I was full of judgment and I was wrong, and I will admit it, I was very wrong. But now that I know better, when you know better, you do better. When you know better, you do better. So since I know better, I'm doing better. But at first I was just like, girl, run for the hills. But now that I know the facts, I'm just like, you know what? They love each other. They really do. There is love there. And that's all that matters, is that they love each other. They have that in common. And I think he's great with the kids. I don't think that and he has money. He has money. It's not like he was poor. Let's see. The brown brick limestones are 2 stories. Are brown. Well, those houses that I'm speaking of, they have 3 floors. Because remember, the servants on top, the family slept on the second floor. The family, and then the first floor was for living room, the parlor, the dining room, the kitchen, and but I can think of at least a couple places where they actually have brought brown stones from the East Coast, right? But typically, Chicago houses were made from either wood or brick, and they would face them with stone, usually limestone from Indiana, which is the very grayish white pale limestone, and Joliet limestone, which is cheap and plentiful, is not very suitable for building because it is very porous and it does not stand up to the weather that well. So, Joliet limestone, a good example of that is the water tower and the old pumping station. But you rarely see a house in Chicago that is completely faced with Joliet limestone because it's very brittle. Um, but the Indiana limestone is of much greater quality and it is more suitable for building projects. So most of those older houses that have a limestone facade, they are made with the Indiana limestone. Uh, yeah. I mean, I'm sure they still talk crap about them, but they don't have they don't have the big English language publications all over the Western world. In other words, I'm sure Murdoch doesn't go that far in I mean, what it's only 5 million people in Norway, right? Yeah. So, but yeah, they were an interesting couple. And I love the king and queen. I mean, I don't want to give it away. If you haven't seen it already, it's on Netflix, The Rebel Royals. But if you haven't seen it, I would say it's definitely worth watching. Even if you think you don't like him or you don't like her, you will definitely have a better feeling about them after you watch it. Good night, Mary H. Thank you for joining us. Yeah. Um, my my family had one years ago. Um, in Bronzeville, they had a house, and I was terrified of that place because it was so dark and shadowy and everything. But I never went, at least I don't have a conscious memory of going up to the third floor. But there was a whole nother kitchen and a bathroom, and I believe it was 1 bedroom up there, 1 or 2 bedrooms. And that's where one of my old aunts lived. And they said that I don't even know how you got up to the third floor, which was deliberate. They would have the door to the third floor kind of like out of sight where the family would never see it. The rich family that lived there, they would never see it. But if you went to the back of the house, then you would find that rear stairway that would take you up to the third floor. And that is where the help lived. And they built those homes like between, most of them are from like the 1880s in Chicago, that is, from like 1880s to around 1900. They were still building those homes. Seems like thousands of them. I'm like, there was that many rich people in Chicago? Yeah, Chicago, after the Great Chicago Fire, which, by the way, you guys, the anniversary of the fire is October the 8th, because the fire was October the 8th, 1871. So every October the 8th, I think about Mrs. O'Leary. But yeah, that's the anniversary of the Great Chicago Fire. A fire that destroyed some 17,000 buildings, killed about 300 people, and destroyed about 4.5 square miles of the city as it was back in those days. And yes, even the sidewalks were made of wood. The paved sidewalks were made of wood. The streets, instead of using bricks in some places, they use wooden blocks because it was cheap and plentiful. Now, Antoinette, I'm going to tell you the one place in Chicago where you are certain to find a brick paved street, but it's not really a street, it's an alley. Behind the Cardinals mansion over there in Lincoln Park, behind the Cardinals mansion, you will find a wooden paved alley. At a glance, you would never know. You think it's brick, but it's actually wood. Little blocks of wood set up on the, I guess the grain was up and down. Um, but it's been like that for probably 150 years and it still looks good. But that's the only example of wooden pavement that I can think of in the city. Oh, yeah. I could imagine that. I could imagine that you would have to go outside and then come back in. But it was deliberately designed so that if you were a guest of the family, number one, if you were a guest back in the Victorian days, you would never go to the second floor except to use the bathroom. You had to go up the steps, and the bathroom was usually right there. Um, but other than that, everything for the family, everything to entertain was on the first floor. But that was very Victorian. Bedrooms on the second floor, servants on the third floor, and the first floor is where you ate your meals, you entertained your guests, all of that. And then, of course, the basement, you either had a coal chute, and then later on, they would switch out the coal and replace that with oil, an oil burning furnace. So then you would take an oil delivery. And then after they switched to natural gas, then you didn't have to have coal or oil to heat your home. But there's a few old apartment buildings. If you go to the alley, you can see these cast iron doors that says coal delivery or coal chute or whatever. Matter of fact, I took a picture of one and I'll show it to you. An old cast iron door that was used for coal deliveries. But that's the beauty of Chicago, is that Chicago has more alleys than any city in America, even more than New York City. We have more alleys. Oh man, I don't see it, which is weird because I know I have that because I took a picture of it. I'm always taking pictures of stuff like that. Huh. Well, I don't see it. I know I'm spelling it right, right? Okay, let me try this. By the way, you guys, I'm done. So, yeah, I'm done. And I know I did not delete it. Okay. You know what? I probably did not. Oh, there it is. It just wasn't able to read it. That's what it is. It could not read it. Okay. So let me do this. "1906" it says. Isn't that interesting? Let me try this. Ah, you know what? It could not read coal, and you'll see why in just a minute. It could not read it. That's why it didn't pick it up. There it is. Majestic coal chute. Patent October. Looks like it says 16th. October 16, 1905. And that is coal chute number 2. I think there was 2 of them. That is number 2, and there's another one, of course, that was number 1. This is on the back of the building. That's why the bricks look so ugly, because the bricks on the back of the property and on the side of the property, that was something that the pedestrians would unlikely to ever see it. So, of course, like any place else, they put the cheaper material on the back. But yeah, now don't ask me, Baron, what were you doing in the alley? That's none of your damn business why I was in the alley. So don't ask. But that is none of your business why I was in the alley. I just was, okay? So majestic coal chutes. It was a patented design. I'm willing to guess that that company is no longer in existence. But you can see why it couldn't. The AI couldn't read the code because it doesn't. It looks like it says, "Oh shoot." Oh my God. Oh, you should Google majestic coal chute. You'll see all kind of stuff. Ah, there's like a little history page. Remnants of the past found in something something. It says majestic coal chute. Wow. Now, how did we get on this? Majestic Company was founded in 1907. Is that '05 or '06? Maybe that's anyway. In 1907 in Huntington, Indiana. It manufactured coal chutes, garbage receivers, package receivers, and fireplace dampers. Here is an an original ad for the Majestic Coal Chute from 1918. I'm going to save that. I might want to reference that again. Take the place of damaged basement coal windows that spoil the look of your building and what is that? Depreciate its value. Protect the side of the building, sidewalks, lawn, shrubs, etc. from coal smudged and damaged by the careless coal man. The coal man. How come it wasn't the coal woman? Yes, the person that delivered it was called the coal man. When open, the door automatically locks in place and simplifies coal delivery. When closed, it is absolutely burglar proof. Large glass window furnishes light to the basement. A Majestic Coal Chute is easily installed, will outlast the building, and soon pays for itself in the savings of repair bills. Wow, they were serious. Majestic Coal garbage receivers protect the health of your family. Oh, you know what? I just thought about it. I'll show this to you. If you're not bored out of your wits, you might find it interesting. There you go. There you go. And look at the garbage receiver. It looks like that's buried in the ground, right? The Majestic underground garbage receiver protects the health of your family because it keeps the garbage clean and sanitary, permits no odor to escape, keep away flies, dogs, and all vermin. I love this. Well-made, water and airtight lid, rust-proof, can be placed anywhere near the building and is always convenient. Lid is operated by a foot. By the foot. Lid is operated by the foot. Okay. Majestic Building Specialties are sold by all leading hardware and building supply dealers. If your dealer cannot supply you, write us for catalog and prices. The Majestic Company, 801 Erie Street, Huntington, Indiana. I wonder if that place is still there. What kind of rabbit hole have we stumbled into? Because you know I'm going to look it up. I want to see what's there now. Okay. Well, hell, it don't look like there's anything there. It's just dirt. It's all gone. They done blew it up. You know, ain't nothing there. Not a thing. It's gone. 801 Erie Stone Road. Erie Stone Road. No, I want Erie Street. Well, whatever was there is gone. Yeah, there's nothing there anymore, you guys. Yep. And there's no street view. I'm trying to do the street view and it won't let me. There's a highway. That's probably what happened. The highway, whatever was there, they destroyed it. But it is in an industrial area. I see oil refineries and everything. Probably a filthy place to live. Feel sorry for those people that live in those homes. God only knows what they're exposed to. Oh, you had an owl? Oh, that's cool. I love owls. Yep, 801 Erie Street is gone. Now it's Erie Stone Road. Well, that stinks. Oh, it is a great city. Summertime is our best. Of course, summertime is when I would recommend to visit Chicago. Well, you guys, if you're ever shopping for a cold shoot, I wonder if they have any of them on eBay. Because if they do, I want one. I want a cold shoot. Don't forget to mark that down. I want a cold shoot for Christmas. Well, I do see cold doors on eBay, but I don't see any from the Majestic Company. Oh, wait, maybe I do. Nope. They don't have any from Majestic. Well, I think I have finally succeeded. This is the oddest turn that Royal Sussex has ever made. And I think we've had some odd ones, haven't we? But that we would be up at 3:05 a.m. Central Time talking about flipping coal chutes. I think I have outdone myself this time. Union Caboose cast iron wood coal stove door railroad. No, that ain't it. I don't want that one. It's only $99 though. It's a bargain. I mean, for a cold shoot, you can't beat that price. Oh my God, antique cast iron. You know, they had irons that you would put little blocks of coal inside of it. It's got a wooden handle. and you can use it as a doorstop. It's only $15.99. Now, if you have a home that needs that unusual retro piece, you can buy a cast iron clothing iron for like $30, $40. I see one here for $40. Now that is something interesting to have in your home, right? Connie Bomber, you missed it. We've been talking about coal chutes. Look at there. As if there isn't the oddest topic on Royal Sussex. Imagine that. I don't even know how we got here. How did we get here? How did we get into this deep, riveting conversation about cast iron coal chute doors? Oh, man. Well, this is the oddest subject we've ever discussed. And the fact that I have a picture of a coal door that I took myself in an alley that I was in for some unexplained reason, I plead the fifth. But I just happened to be in the alley and I noticed that there was a cast iron coal chute, and I thought it would be interesting. That being said, as interesting as this is, I'm going to bid you all a fond farewell and say goodnight for now, because it's been 3 hours. And I think that when the conversation has degraded to a cast iron coal chute door, it's probably time to go. So, as interesting as this has been, taking a trip down memory lane, good night. Love you guys. I will see you all next time. Cheers.